Welcome to Crime and Plastic, a gripping podcast where I, Dr. Miami, one of the world's top plastic surgeons, and my co-host,
Santina,
the amateur true crime researcher, delve into the often unseen world where true crime and plastic surgery intersect. Each week, I share my expertise and insights into the complex world of cosmetic procedures, while Santina
gives you the shocking details of criminal investigations.
From notorious criminals undergoing drastic transformations to evade the law,
to even our own personal encounters with true crime and plastic surgery,
all will be uncovered.
So sit back, relax,
Or don't,
because this is
Crime and Plastic.
Welcome back, everybody, to Crime and Plastic.
Woo!
I actually missed you guys. You were away. You left me.
You left first.
Well, I did leave first, and then you left
After you came back.
Second.
the second I came back. So
We missed you.
I felt a little sad about that, but I'm glad we're all back here together.
Woo!
Me too. And
And-
I miss the audience too.
Yes.
Thank you for listening.
I miss Roro.
I'm going to not fidget. I'm not going to move my hands. And when I talk, I'm going to be looking right at the microphone. I will not be
Yes.
moving my head.
Yeah.
So the sound will be perfect and I will enunciate every single consonant.
We're trying, guys. I anyway am an amateur podcaster, so
Me too.
Me three.
it's very hard for me to sit still.
So, in recent development,
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. So can we
So-
start right into my newscast?
no, wait, before that,
Oh,
Yes.
because I was alone with the doctor while Roro was gone and I didn't have anyone to split my time with him, he could be frustrating. So for people listening or watching, you might see something around his neck right now. It might look a little odd. He is not in his goth era. That is a shock collar.
like for dogs, to train dogs.
Yeah. So I said to him jokingly, like, maybe you need like a shock collar, and every time you say something annoying, I'll just buzz you. And he thought it was so funny, so he bought it. And
Of course he did.
no, literally, he's like, they only have it for dogs. Do you think it'll fit my neck?
It
So-
did, like a glove.
I'm surprised you didn't have it like Instacarted immediately in
They
that
didn't
hour.
have it on Instacart. You had to wait overnight.
When you
And if I ramble on and on like I'm doing right this minute, continuing on with something that nobody wants to hear about, now Santina will buzz me. Now stop.
And if you hear us say sausage, that's because Santina taught us that that's the word you're supposed to say to practice speaking and enunciating
And projecting your voice.
and projecting. Sausage.
Sausages.
Sausage.
Sausage.
The sausage?
Sausage.
Why sausage, though?
Because I was a child in theater, and sausage is a funny word to 10-year-olds. So they made you stand on stage and say sausage, sausage, sausage at an even tone over and over. You didn't crack a smile, like nothing, until you were in front of a stage, serious as hell, and audible. So that's why I don't have an issue.
Okay, so doctor, do you have our news stories,
Yes.
our up and coming news stories for the week of
Yes.
Crime and Plastic?
Yes, so we've had this weekly thing where I tell you what's happening in the current events of plastic surgery
This is the
news
third
and
week.
crime. So this week in plastic surgery crime news, we had a wonderful week. There was no crimes committed by any plastic surgeons as far as we know. And that's the first time in a while. So we should have
Snaps.
like,
Yeah.
like on work sites where job sites where they say it's been X number of days since
A
we've
work
had
accident?
A work accident. It's been 7 whole days since a plastic surgeon or patient or doctor has committed a crime. However, there is some plastic surgery news. Kevin Costner, the actor,
Yes.
I don't.
Dances with Wolves, Field of Dreams, Yellowstone.
Yellowstone, that's what I think he just left Yellowstone.
He's getting divorced. It might not be his first divorce. I don't know. But the wife is asking for $240,000 a month in child support because
That sounds reasonable. He's got a lot of money.
she says he's worth $400 million.
Damn.
His reply.
I just feel like, how?
His reply is that actually it's not all for the kids, that she spends alone $188,000 a month on plastic surgery.
How?
I don't know how.
What procedure costs that much? And
I mean,
can we do
I
it?
mean, I can.
She must be having fucking like Botox, Ozempic, titty parties.
Even
she's
that.
every week.
She'd have to be made of silicone.
Or maybe she's treating her friends
That's what I'm
to
saying,
plastic
parties.
surgery. Yeah.
Oh,
Like they say, like in Hollywood, that they were having like Ozempic parties, whatever.
really?
They were, yeah. They
So
would
when they
say-
go to a party and inject themselves?
yeah,
Really?
that's what they're saying.
Okay.
That's what they saying. $188,000 a month on plastic surgery. I'm calling bullshit. I don't think that's possible.
I don't either. And if she is, I'd like to know what she's doing.
Unless there's some like
Experimental-
cult leader plastic surgeon that's charging astronomical money for simple things.
Maybe.
Wait,
Like
it's funny
some
that you say
Rasputin.
that
because
That's a future episode.
it's a future
it really?
episode.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a current episode, but
Santina.
my pet fish, I just remembered, is starving. I gotta go feed that.
Okay,
fish.
but is that really a story you're going to present to me?
yes.
But what's this week's episode about?
So this week, Crime and Plastic is going international. We are leaving the
Ooh.
U.S.
Okay.
You guys got your passports? You?
I do.
So we're going across the Pacific Ocean to Taiwan, and that's where our story begins. And it's a little heavier on the crime than the plastic.
Okay.
Bum, bum, bum.
That's okay.
There's a lot of crime and a little plastic.
Santina, where's Taiwan?
It's in Asia.
Nice.
Yes.
Got him.
It's off the coast of China.
Yes.
Okay. Is China not in Asia?
It is. You're absolutely
It's an
right.
island nation.
I know that Taiwan is an island. That's also irrelevant to the story.
I need to mansplain things.
No, you don't.
It's-
Okay, so we are back in April 1997.
That's not that long ago.
No, not that long ago.
Yeah.
And I would like to apologize to any Chinese listeners for my pronunciation of these names. They are a bit difficult to pronounce, so bear with me. So this story takes place April 1997, and a 17-year-old girl named Pai Xiaoyan was kidnapped. And she was the daughter of a Taiwanese television star and a Japanese comic book artist. So her mom's name was Pai Ping Ping,
Mhm.
and her dad is Iki Kajiwara.
And they were famous.
They were famous, yeah. So the 17-year-old girl, she gets kidnapped on her way to school, and her mom gets a ransom request of $5 million. And they also sell a piece of her finger with the ransom request
No.
with a picture of a girl who's bound.
That's terrifying.
Terrifying.
That's awful.
It's like worst nightmare.
It is horrible. So they keep giving them the runaround with the ransom drops. You know, they'll tell them to meet them someplace and they'll abort the attempt because they suspect police or media are there. And this goes on for 11 days. This woman tried to pay the ransom for her kid.
Without notifying the police?
No, the police were involved.
Okay, so she immediately called the police.
Yeah, she called the police. The police are involved. They're trying to coordinate this ransom drop, but kidnappers keep changing it because they suspect the police are involved and they suspect the media's there. So it goes back and forth, back and forth.
Right.
They've been negotiating for like 10, 11 days, and the police find the daughter dead.
Whoa.
And she was tortured, killed, and they threw her body in like a body of water, and they found it.
Terrible.
And when they found her body, they said she had been dead for 10 days. So these kidnappers were negotiating with her when she was already dead. And even though they had they staged pictures of a different girl like to send to the mom. So the names of the abductors are Lil Chul Seng,
Uh-huh.
Cao Til Min, and Chen Chil Shing.
Okay.
So those were
Just
the
three people.
Three kidnappers, yeah.
Right.
So apparently, just a little history in Taiwan at the time, crime rate had risen in the early 90s, like 80%. Before they had a military rule president, he died, and then they got more democratic and crime shot up.
So they had, I guess, they had a strongman leader. That
Yeah,
kept
in the
crime under
70s.
control?
Yeah, it was like military rule.
Uh,
Like people didn't fuck around.
Right.
And then it became a little bit more democratic,
More
a little
open,
more free,
more
more
free.
open, and crime rate shot up. So this crime was kind of rocked the senses of the Taiwanese people. They
Something has to be done.
yeah, they started rioting in the streets, calling for, because especially the police, how they bungled this ransom, they couldn't catch the abductors. So people went to the streets to call for the president to resign. They've had it because now these three abductors were on the street, and everybody was scared. And she was a, wealthy woman, and her child got kidnapped in broad daylight. So rich Taiwanese people were leaving. People were picking up their kids from school. They weren't going out at night. They were in fear of what was going on. This gang that was going on. And just when you think they're going to go on the run after this kidnapping, they decide to start a whole new crime spree.
These same three people went on a crime spree?
They went on a crime spree.
The one murder failed ransom thing wasn't enough for them.
Yeah. So, and brutally, they brutally killed a 17-year-old girl. Then, so what they did, the police arrested the relatives of these three people.
So they knew who it was. They just couldn't.
Yeah, they knew who they were. And they arrested their wife and brothers to interrogate them.
Okay, that's
and then
definitely not legal.
Well,
Well,
here.
I mean,
yeah, here. And they suspected that their family was involved in the abduction
Yeah,
too, like as
depends how-
accomplices.
yeah, like
Because-
if they were helping hide them or
Yeah.
plan it.
Well, they said Chen's wife's brother was like a lookout during the abduction and actually witnessed some of the things that happened. That when he cut her finger, and the wife, I think, was also hiding them out, and she like warned them when the police
You
were
can
coming.
arrest those people.
Yeah,
then.
they
They're
were- they were-
accessories to the crime.
Yeah, they were accomplices.
These
so,
are like terrible people. What the fuck?
yeah, no, these are really bad people.
They're gangsters. You're saying.
Yeah, they're gangsters.
Yeah.
Really bad people and arrogant. They would write letters to the police, kind of taunting them how they couldn't catch them. But they were very upset about their family members being captured. So they kept repeating that their family wasn't involved, that it was just them. They had full confessions. They totally
Right.
took
Responsibility.
they said we killed her, we kidnapped her, but it was just us. Like
Right.
leave our family alone.
What? Like, who gives a fuck? Like, you think the police care now? Like,
No.
about your.
You didn't seem to care about that other poor lady's family.
No, but also, like, you think the police believe you? Like,
Oh.
you guys are like trustworthy people?
We're only murderers. We're not liars.
Maybe they're not liars, but they're definitely criminals because after August 1997, they kidnapped a businessman.
Another kidnapping?
Yeah.
Oh.
And they extorted 4 million Taiwan dollars. So it was 150,000 US dollars at the time.
See, they realized the number they asked for was too big to begin with.
Well,
You got to
maybe-
know your crowd.
Yeah. So again, like the Taiwanese people are going nuts. They're like, why can't the police catch these? These three guys are just hanging out in the city. Like they haven't left. They're just like,
Right.
they're sightings and the police cannot catch them.
That's so weird that like the police knew who they were and
Yeah.
could not capture them. Like, what the
Yeah.
are these like motherfuckers like the Dark Knight? Like, where do like, they have like an underground tunnel? Like,
The
I don't-
Keystone Cops in Taiwan.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a very
where the fuck were they hiding?
And not only that, while they're wanted fugitives, they have the audacity to go and kidnap.
yeah, they kidnap
Another
people,
person.
and apparently they're like raping women left and right too. Like their
What?
final count at the end of this guy was like 20 women,
Oh my god.
Whoa.
and he's married, and his
And his
like
wife is like knows
and his
about it.
wife is like, and he's trying to get his wife out of capture, and his wife is like defending him,
Wow.
as he's this like crazy rapist. Then finally in August, they
What's
were
that guy's name? The crazy rapist?
Chel Ching.
Okay, I just gotta put that in my mind.
Yeah. So the police are led to a building where two of the fugitives, Lin Chunsheng and Cao Tin-min, are there.
Okay.
And they corner them. They reinforce the area. And Cao Tin-min escapes.
Yeah.
But Lin is cornered and he just shoots himself. He
Ooh.
commits suicide so that the police don't capture
How the
him.
fuck did the other guy escape?
Yeah,
if
where's
the
this-
perimeter was
where's-
reinforced?
yeah,
He
where's-
slipped through the police cordon and escaped.
These police officers are just so remarkable.
But
at their
where's the
job.
rapist guy? He wasn't.
He wasn't with them,
He
and
wasn't
he's
with
still
them.
on.
He's still
and
on the loose.
He's still on the loose. So again,
That's
they're
pretty
writing
sad.
letters saying that Chen wrote a letter to the police saying that his wife was not involved, and he offers to surrender if they let his wife go.
Mhm.
And then, right a few days later, after that, he raped some female student from a vocational high school.
This guy is so odd.
Very odd.
Like, why he's writing so hard for his wife,
I know, and he's
it's-
raping
and he's
people.
like doing all this horrific shit.
Yeah,
Like, where's the disconnect?
That's one weird dude.
he is a weird dude.
Well, his wife is weird too.
After that, on October 23rd,
Yeah.
1997, they basically barge into a plastic surgeon's office.
In the middle of a workday.
The plastic surgeon's name, which took a lot of finding, because this is kind of like a footnote in his whole story, because the main story is the kidnapping of the TV star's daughter. So the plastic surgeon's name was Fang Baofeng,
Mhm.
and his wife and a nurse were there. So he forced him at gunpoint to do surgery to change his appearance. I think they did it actually on Cow, not on Chen, the surgery. They did an eyelid surgery. They were
Under gunpoint.
under gunpoint.
How long would that take?
An hour and a half. 2
Also,
hours.
very Grey's Anatomy.
Really?
Yeah, that's true. They
That
did a lot of
happens in
stuff on
Grey's Anatomy.
like a lot of gunpoint.
Who fucking? If they would have just hired security.
Yeah, I know.
Listen, when I was at Jackson, we had in the 90s, we had gang shootings, and gang members would come in and then shoot up the waiting area. I remember coming to work and having to step over police lines and body outlines.
Oh,
So
wow.
crime does happen around hospitals. Like,
Were you ever there when there was a shooting?
no, I always came in after.
You
Oh, that
just
was
knew
lucky.
or what?
Yeah. No, I came in after and I'm like, what's happened here? Police line do not cross. Da, da, da.
Anyone you know ever get hurt? Like staff?
No, nobody that I knew personally.
like in Grey's Anatomy, it's like always someone that's an important character, like a main.
Weird how
It's terrible.
you
Nurses.
coincidentally always showed up afterwards.
I
It's almost
did.
Like you
I did. I'm just saying, like that happens. That we're
Almost
like people come to the hospital to finish the job if they shot somebody.
Oh, I see.
That's
Okay.
so wild. Like, just
Yeah.
wait till them to like leave and then try again.
No,
Why would you go?
because
try
you're
to get-
upset. You just shot my friend. I want to make sure that
Be damned the consequences.
That
There's
you're
other
dead.
witnesses and
Yeah,
cops and everything. It's
Yeah,
not
they
a very
don't care.
smart crime.
No, generally it's not. No.
Yeah, so they barge in
They
at
barge into-
gunpoint. They force this plastic surgeon to do surgery on him. They rape the nurse while they're there, and they kill all three of them
After the surgery's done.
after the surgery's done. I guess because they didn't want the plastic surgeon.
They're
to ide-
witnesses.
Yeah, they're witnesses.
He just raped one, and yeah,
yeah, so that is
what a horrible people.
horrible people.
You know what's crazy? It's like every time the plastic surgeon gets killed, one of
An
these
angel gets its
stories-
wings or something. Is that what you're gonna say?
No.
Oh,
What I was gonna say is that every time the plastic surgeon gets killed, just some poor, not involved employee also has to suffer.
that
That's
is
true.
true.
It's like I don't want to show up anymore.
It's true.
Take out your beef with him.
And then there's a patient who was like expecting to have surgery like the next day, took off from work, paid for the surgery, is NPO, and they come in for their surgery for their tummy tuck, and like, where's your surgeon?
He was murdered.
He was
Dead.
murdered.
Murdered by like the most wanted man in Taiwan. Then a few days later, a woman gets kidnapped again, also asked for money. And then he asked her, "Are you a flight attendant?" And she said no. And then he just left her. So now the police were scared that these guys were planning to hijack a plane or to
Right.
go flee by plane. So they had to like beef up security at the airports and everything because of this guy.
When did they know that the plastic surgeon was killed? Like, did they
They
discover
found,
the bodies right away?
Yeah, they found the bodies right away.
So now they know that these fugitives may have had plastic
Right.
surgery, and they don't really know who they're looking for
Right.
necessarily.
Do you think that they really become so unrecognizable with plastic surgery?
Absolutely, you know we can do that.
You know what? I was actually reading something that like some criminal got caught because he went to a plastic surgeon
Yeah,
and he asked for like the specific like combination of
that would
facial
make
surgery
you
that would
change. Yeah.
that apparently like surgeons are trained to like deny.
What is that?
It's like cheekbones, nose.
If someone wants to change the shape of their face to be completely different, not just themselves but better, but completely different,
It's a red
and
flag.
You're supposed to report it.
It's not just a red flag, but also if they want to look worse,
Ah,
like they want a scar, or they want some asymmetry, or they want something, something that generally speaking people don't ask for.
has anyone ever asked you for that?
No,
Are you waiting for the day?
it's probably gonna happen next week.
But what the guy ended up like calling authorities because he was like that guy was so fucking weird. Like
Yeah, it's a weird combination.
so
of
they called
requests.
authorities and that
Yeah.
guy got caught.
That could be a future episode.
This poor plastic surgeon. Sorry for talking over you.
Yeah.
This poor plastic surgeon, his wife, and the
nurse.
nurse were killed.
Yes.
Then he kidnapped somebody else.
Yes. They were, I think, stabbed and shot.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then he kidnapped somebody else kind of like quickly, asks if she's a flight attendant, and lets her go when she says she's not. And the police found out that someone else in the building was a flight attendant. So that's why they were scared that they were looking for like a hijacking or
Right.
like just a way to get out of the country. And then Chen starts plotting because he really wants his wife and his wife's brother to be set free
Right.
and to not get caught. Because the police officers are basically in Taiwan, they were like incentivized to kill him. Like they got like bonuses if they would.
Really?
Yeah, they like
Oh.
when the Lin killed themselves, they all like got promoted and bonused and whatever. The
Like in
poli-
the Old West, like with the wanted
yeah,
posters.
the police were incentivized for him to either be killed or captured, like a lot.
Dead or
So-
alive.
Right. So his thinking was that he should kidnap someone who's foreign because the police, if they like kill a foreign national in the crossfire, it'll start like an international incident.
Yes.
So basically, he wanted to kidnap an American
Right.
so
Got
that
him.
it would give him some protection, and then he could use that as leverage to get his wife free and maybe save himself because the police are not going to risk shooting an American.
Right.
That's a pretty good plan.
I guess.
Americans are good currency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So while Chen is plotting to find an American to kidnap and solve all his problems, Cao is actually spending his time in a brothel. And the police get word of it, and they surround the brothel, and he also kills himself to evade capture. He shoots
Oh.
himself instead of them capturing
And all the
him.
police get promoted.
Yes, so the police get their bonuses.
Incentives.
So we only have one of the trio left.
Right.
So he found his victims that he's going to kidnap and hold hostage. He breaks into their house one night in November. And unfortunately for him, they're not home.
Oh, got him.
Good.
Chen decides to, still go on with his kidnapping idea. He just picks the neighbor's house. In this house lives the South African military attaché Alexander and his family, his wife, his 2 daughters, and his daughter's foster son. So his daughter, Melanie, she's very involved in like public outreach and research. And on one of her missions, she was in a Chinese orphanage and she saw one of the babies and she's like, oh, I want to take that baby home. And basically the Chinese people there just like wrapped him up, did the paperwork, and she took him home. And all of them were present when Chen decided to break into their house and take them all hostage.
I don't like this guy.
No, I don't think he's very likable. He has like no redeemable qualities at all. I mean, he grew up like poor and in a broken home and all of that.
That is no excuse to kill a plastic surgeon.
You know what they say in Morbid?
What?
Because they often do like, shout out to Morbid, by the way. They often do like backtracks on like criminals and with their children. And like a lot of the times, like more often than not, they have like a really fucked up childhood.
Yeah.
So they always say like, we feel bad for the child, not for the adult they became.
That's true.
Right.
That's very well said.
Yeah.
Very
That's
well
what
said.
they always say.
Yeah.
Shout out to Elena Nash. If you need a third.
Wow.
Wow.
Ditching us already.
Loyalty.
No, I would never
Loyal
leave
to
you.
the soil. Okay, so we feel for the child,
But not the adult he
but
became.
not
Definitely
the
not.
adult he became.
So
He's a rapist, murderer, kidnapper.
So then he takes this
Weirdo.
this really nice family hostage. There's a police showdown. He demands for this politician to do the negotiations because
He's a diplomat.
Now, for the record, they were a nice family, but even if they were assholes, it's still not nice to kidnap them.
I agree.
That's not true because if you were kidnapping the Murdoch family, for example,
True. Yeah, they seem. I mean,
They seem like good peeps.
they seem like good people.
And they
And then
adopted a baby.
They adopted a
and,
baby. He's helping people with
AIDS
AIDS.
people, I get it,
I
okay.
mean, they seem like a solid people.
I hope they get out of this alive.
We'll find out.
Mm.
So he calls the politician to do the negotiations, and he demands to be on television so he could like confess and tell all like the bad things the police are doing to his family. He gets on like news channels and starts giving interviews while he's basically milking this for publicity. Like he's like talking to talk show hosts, like
Does he want to
everything.
start a podcast?
I don't know.
wait,
It's
like
kind of
live streaming,
live stream. Yeah,
for
Li-
days or how long?
No,
did
this
go
is
on?
24 hours.
Was
But
no
this whole
live streaming
night,
in 1997.
no, but he's calling into shows
Right.
and on the news and talking about a story and confessing to Pai's murder and saying his wife didn't do it. Like still on his wife and his brother-in-law to set them free, and that the police are basically abusing them, which he might have some truth to it.
Okay, but also, how would he know the police were abusing his wife unless his wife and brother-in-law were in contact with him? In which case, why didn't they track them down?
Good
Yeah.
point.
Good. The police did not do a great job on
The police are weird.
Yeah, they didn't do such a great job. Eventually, the dad, he gets shot. The daughter gets shot in the leg. So
Which daughter?
Was there
Melanie, the
why did he
older
shoot
daughter.
them? Was there a raid?
The police came and they tried to get into the house, so he shot at
Got
them and they got caught in the crossfire. They
Right.
got injured. Eventually, the negotiations, he does release them. He releases them first and the wife last, but they get the medical attention that they need. And Chen is finally arrested and tried and sentenced to death.
Yes.
After he surrendered and he was arrested, convicted, sentenced to death, there was still an appellate process in Taiwan because they wanted to look at the case again because his brother-in-law, his wife's brother, also got the death penalty. So they wanted to review the whole thing to see if his brother-in-law deserved the death penalty too. So they reviewed the whole case again. The appellate court did affirm that Chen should be executed. I don't think they gave his brother-in-law the death penalty though. So it's just Chen. And then in 1999, he was murdered by firing squad.
Nice.
They don't play in Taiwan with their death penalty.
And that's not bad. The crime is in 97 and
In
executed
99.
by 90. Like in America, it usually takes decades
Yeah.
to get so many
Well,
appeals and this and that.
Yeah. Well, he was murdered by firing squad. Pretty intense.
Nice.
But that ended the reign of terror of Chen.
Did they make changes to the police force in Taiwan because of this case? Was there a big
Yeah.
shakeup? I would imagine.
Some people resigned and they.
Is there a movie about this I can watch somewhere?
I tried to find one.
There must be.
I think there should be a movie or a book. Well, Miguel Alexander wrote a book about it, about his experience. So he does
the
some
diplomat.
The diplomat. He writes it's called Hostage in Taipei. He tells a lot of the story of his crime spree and he goes into a little bit about the politics of Taiwan.
I would love
as
to
well.
see a movie made.
But
about
yeah,
this
that's what a
crazy
lot of
thing.
the articles start with. Like, this is like a Hollywood movie like that actually took place.
It is very movie-like because I feel like only in movies can you think that you could do it all. Like, he thought he could get away with the crime, also save his wife and brother-in-law, and then also
Get free plastic surgery.
You know, like, if you're trying to escape and shit like that, like, sorry, wife, I tried. I got to look out for myself. Like, that's the more realistic thing to do if you're really trying to get away with it. But he's like, I mean, he
He's
might
like,
have...
baby,
like,
I'm gonna make it right. I'm gonna make it all right. We're gonna get all the money. You're not gonna go to jail.
like, it's such
And
a...
I'm gonna get away with everything.
It's such like a black and white movie, like...
Yeah, but that does never happen.
Like idea, like I'm gonna get an American, and then I'm gonna call in the hostages, and like what? The fuck are you watching? Like a newsie? Like
And then she'll have to love me.
There's also, so again, like, I can't verify if it's true, a sentence in an article I read that said Paramount has the rights to this story for like Face Off 2.
what's Face Off to?
Oh, that's funny.
No, it's never came out.
The Nicolas Cage movie, Face Off.
Yeah, I
Where
don't
they
know.
force him to
Who's
take.
Nicolas Cage? I'm kidding. I know him because
Have you
there's
seen the
this
movie
huge
Face Off?
conspiracy that he's a time traveler.
So Face Off is the movie where the criminal forces the plastic surgeon or whatever to change his face.
I don't remember.
It's some kind of science experiment.
How did he force him?
I don't know.
I'm not trying to take
I
notes
forget
or
the
anything.
movie exactly. Oh, very funny.
I forget the movie too. So that was Crime and Plastic in Taiwan.
Wow, that was
It
terrible.
It was a really terrible, very,
It's a horrible story.
very-
Although at least there's some justice at the end because he died by firing squad.
I don't know. I
Yes.
don't feel like it's enough.
I feel like we need more options.
I actually think that sometimes it's worse to live. Actually, in most cases.
Yeah.
You're right. It could be a lot more punishing to live out a life sentence with everything that happens in prison and all the torture and all of that. Might be a more deserving crime than just to be shot by a firing squad and let off kind of easy. So that's a wrap for this episode. I hope you enjoyed our international trip to Taiwan. And next week, we're actually going to be going to Mexico with Crime and Plastic.
Andale, arriba, arriba.
Arriba, arriba.
Not Ariba.
We have a lot of exciting episodes coming up, so tune in and we'll see you soon.
Tune in or else.